Welcome to this Dotloop training session. This is just a quick 10-minute overview so you can kind of understand the navigations and how to quickly get started for this. Mostly for the fact if you're just receiving Dotloop offer or something like that and you're not a Dotloop user, this would be a great first start for you just to get your feet wet. There will be other trainings if you're a Dotloop user that will be a lot more specific. So with all of that being said, what is Dotloop? Dotloop is a transaction management software. For most of us, we use it as an electronic signature solution that will let me share as an agent my contracts, paperwork with my clients, with my attorneys, with my mortgage people, with all the people that are involved and people that can view and or sign documents. Again, it is a transaction management tool, so it will do more than just simply signatures, but that's what we're going to kind of cover today. So if you look at Dotloop right now, what you're going to see in the screen is over in the top left-hand corner, the Dotloop logo. You might see another company logo. You're going to see the account. Over on the right-hand side, you're going to see our menu system, reporting, loops, tasks, people, templates, and then your default profile. In the default profile, you will see your information and your name. If you need to change anything, going to my account will easily do that for you. Also, please be aware that you will see an 800 number if you run into any questions. Please don't hesitate to call Dotloop. They have an amazing technical service department that is glad to help. Next to this, underneath here, you will see in here your dashboard. So over on the right side, underneath the default name, you're going to see add a loop. We're going to come to that here in a second. This is where you get to create your own loop if you wanted to and start one yourself if you do not have a free account. If you have a free account, it'll be a little more challenging. Otherwise, you can just do that from there. You also have in here your activity log. It'll tell you everything that's happening in the system, right? It'll let you know who's opened, who's modified, who's done that kind of fun stuff. And then any notifications when it's your turn to sign, things like that, you'll see there. You also can search for any of your loops, your transactions, and that is what Dotloop is. Dotloop is managing your transactions. They call it loop. Our world, we call it transactions that are there. So you're going to see that in place. Underneath there, again, like I said, you can search. You can also filter for them. You control how to sort, as well as the different layouts, grid, list view, and compact. And then underneath there, you're going to see all your loops in here. If I come into an individual loop, you will see in here, I can open them up. You're going to see in here the name of the loop. Traditionally, it will be, although it is not limited to, traditionally it will be the address of the property we're having a transaction with. But again, it is not limited there. You'll also see that every loop is essentially made up of 3 to 4 sections. You're going to have the name of the loop and the details. You're going to see the documents in place. That is the second section. The third section is the people, and then the fourth, or 3 to 4, is your tasks, right? That's what each loop will contain. If you're receiving this as a Dotloop person, you will see in here you can open up the documents and then you can edit them as you see fit. If you are on the other side of the transaction and you do not have Dotloop, but you're just giving this to make an offer, and you don't have the ability to edit, please reach out to the agent that has Dotloop and make sure they give you the role edit. But in here, I can type names. I can fill out fields. Almost all fields in here will have text boxes that are editable. I can always assign people to sign. I can come in here on my side and assign the participating parties that need to be in here to be on the loop. Now I am going to go back out of the loop in here And I'm going to show you quickly, and here again, this is more of introductory. I'm going to break each one of these steps down independently in future trainings. But when we're here, you will also see that you have the ability in here to create your own loop. So if I come in here, I can say add loop. Now I've got basically 4 steps for adding any one loop. One, I got to give it a name. It can be an address, it can be a property, it can be whatever you want it to be. In here, I am going to do this. We're going to make this a listing, so I'm going to encourage you to pick the Google Maps version of this. I'm going to say continue. If your office has templates, you can pick them from here. Otherwise, you just say continue. You can add a photo. Everything in Dotloop is a PDF required document. This is the only exception to that rule. You can actually add a JPEG or PNG file. And if I say none, I'm here. I have my loop. I can say it's a listing for sale. I can give it a status of pre-listing because I haven't done it yet. And then I can come out here and say view loop. When I am here with that, now you have the ability to add your documents. Now, again, one of the powers of Dotloop is simply that it will input all the information that you have put in here. So it's always a good idea to come into the view details section first to fill that out. Again, watch my other trainings on this. That'll actually go into great details of the value of adding that in here, but always pay attention to that. In here, you got 3 ways of adding documents: templates, browse, or email. If you do browse or email, these are what are known as flat files, which means there are no text boxes, initial boxes, nothing already in place. But if you do have this in here and you are using the account within Dotloop, you should be able to go into your folders on the left-hand side. And pick your contract. And add it in there. Now you should be able to pick all of them at the same time. You should be able to pick your contracts, your disclosures, all necessary documentation that you need to have your client sign. Once you do that, you can open this up if you want. I am going to always encourage you to add your appropriate people in here. You can add them here. If they do not already exist in your Dotloop database, you can add their names here. Otherwise, if they do already exist in here and you come into play here, you can add their name. You can add their role. In this example, it's going to be a seller. If this information was previously filled out, and it should be, that stuff will populate for me. And then I can say add person. Now I have Mike. I can add as many people as I need to be in the contract. It does not stop. I also can add as many parties that are involved. If I look at all the roles here, you will see we have most of the roles already identified in the system. So all you have to do is pick it. In case they do not exist, you can actually pick other. Once we're done with that, I can then come in here and say and open the document. Here it's going to let me have an autofill. Since this is a smart templated document, it already has text fields and stuff laid out. So it's giving me an opportunity to make sure that I have all those filled out. I can make sure my roles are filled out. I can make sure my address is in place. I can come in here and fill out any extra information I need to have to fill this stuff out. Notice that the address is in place in here because I have filled it out in the other section. Any listing information I need to have to put in place, any geographic information in here. Once I do that, I can say autofill. Everything in yellow is what has been filled. More specifically, it's what's changed since the last time I have been in this document. I could then come in here and start filling out the rest of the stuff in here to fill it out. Notice in here, since I have filled this out and I assigned Mike a role, Mike already has the box right here. I have it there. Me as a designated broker is right here. And my managing broker, I would have to assign in here or give it a role. A lot of offices do not require that. All right, I could start filling fields out in here. If I had something I needed them to sign, see, he's already there, but maybe I have another box. You can assign Mike. You can assign your client other roles in these documents. The listing example probably does not have the best one in here, but I could assign them roles. I could pick a text box and assign them if I needed to. Disclosures are a really good example for that you could have them in there and established in place. Once you are done with the documents, you can say save. You could say save and share, and that is perfectly okay. I am going to say save on this example. I am going to move back. When I am done here, I now can go through all these items. I only did one. This is a quick training, only doing one right here. But in this situation, I could go through and do my disclosures as well, or any other documentation. Once they're done, I can come through here and pick all of them, and then this share button pops up. Once I pick on share, I have the ability to share these with all the people that need to sign or review the documentation. When I'm here, you can see I've got 4 roles: view, can sign, can fill and sign, and can edit in private. This is a listing agreement, so when I'm here, view only is only going to let them view. There is no editing, signing, whatever. Can sign will let them sign where they've been assigned roles and edit any fields they have been assigned to. Can fill and sign is a little bit more open. They can not only fill some of the fields there, but if there are open fields, they'll have access to those as well. And then can edit in private is designed for the other agent. In a listing contract, this would be your cooperating agent, your partner. If this was on the opposite side, like I was sharing a purchase contract, this would be the other agent on the other side of the transaction. I can attach PDF to email. That would add the document in there. That is perfectly your choice. My personal suggestion would be to do that as a separate send. Let them sign first and do it. My experience is if you send that at the same time you're trying to get a sign, they don't know what always to do, and try to make life easy. So I say share. You will now notice in here I have shared with Mike. Now I can just wait until they sign and it'll be ready to go. So with that, it's just a quick overview. We will take each one of those steps in upcoming videos and go through. Again, this is just more so you can understand how to navigate around, especially if you want to share this with the other persons you're trying to share and get them to sign with. This is always a good video to do that with. Hope that helped. We will see you at the next training.